from before, you see this health bar 1, 2, 3. I dragged the sliders for health bar 1, 2, 3 into here so it knows exactly which ones it is. Here, if current sprite is 0, so the first one, health 1 minus equals damage. Health bar 1 value equals health 1. If health is 0, game over pop up, so active true. Next thing I need to do in this area is I need to add a line of code, which is I'd need to do an enumerator, wait 4 seconds, 5, which takes us from the game over screen to the main menu. And this is pretty much, I copied and pasted this 2 more times. I'm sure there's a way to be more efficient in this, but I copied and pasted this 2 more times to represent the first character, second character and third character. That's basically all the player health is. Pretty simple. This here is an enemy. If I go up to an enemy, it damages this character. But watch, when I press Q, this character is full health because it's stored at value 100. This one has full health, but this character has 90% health. And it stores it, so if I hurt this character's still full health, this one's still 90 health, this one's still whatever health he is at. So it saves these values, and whenever one of the characters dies, they all die. Done. NPC dialogue. So before this, all I had was dialogue in the first cutscene. Then I changed that dialogue to be in level 1 as well, so the character can speak to the NPCs in this first level. If I show you how that works, it works exactly the same as it does in the first cutscene. You approach a NPC and collide with them, and then you get this dialogue box pop up and they speak. And all I did with this is I took exactly the same dialogue as I had in the cutscene, and I made a few little tweaks so it worked fine. So I had a dialogue manager and a dialogue box. So this dialogue manager, I can get rid of all of these. These aren't necessary. At first, I didn't have any of this. So at first, all I done after the end dialogue ended, I loaded the next scene, so this would have been level 1. But when I was testing this in level 1, every time I finished a conversation with the villager, it would take me back to the beginning of the level. And I knew this was because of this end dialogue section. So all I had to add to this dialogue is if scene name equals cutscene 1. So it had to check if it's on cutscene 1 before it loaded level 1. That's all I had to do, and it works perfectly. Next thing I done, made some more music. Dialogue box, sound effects and art. So as you saw previously, I added art to the dialogue box. There's a better way I can show you this. I can show you this intro cutscene. The 2 things I've added were, so when it starts, so if I explain to you, this dialogue box here, I added, so this is a completely separate dialogue box. It's just this image here. So I made this image, basically I made a box, I added a shadow behind it, I added an overlay of watercolor texture, then I added some cool shapes and I messed with the blend modes. This box here is basically the same box but the resolution is different. And I added a few different bits here and made the lighting different. it's got all the font on it, and I made the text smaller but more central. And this button here, I have a continue button, which is a low resolution arrow. Now this in the background is actually an image I drew really quickly to say. It's not impressive, I know. It's just a very basic illustration for the cutscene, and it basically shows this evil guy with all these weeds, and then the hero with the ginger hair, the huge shears, and the oversized boots fighting them off. And then this intro cutscene is the same one as I explained before, but with better illustrations and more of an atmosphere behind it. Once you finish, you go to level 1, obviously. Another thing I changed was I have this tutorial thing here. It's not finished yet, got very basic art. Another thing I've done is the lighting. So you can see how the character illuminates a light. So this light is a point light. And you can see how it is slightly animated. You have to look closely, but it changes from a bluish tone to a yellowish tone. How I've done this, since it is a 2D game, I had to change the materials of the objects. So all of this doesn't work with light at all when it's 2D. So what I've done is I took the grid, all of everything in the grid, the ground, and I changed the material to pixel diffuse. So this material, all it is a diffuse material, sprites diffuse, that's all it is, and I applied that to all of the sprites, the enemies and the NPCs, all of that. Sprite sheet, I updated the sprite sheet, so you can tell from here, instead of being flat colours, it's now different. So these are crystallized, Photoshop crystallized. So what I did was I got a picture of stone, messed around with it a bit, and then added the crystallized text filter to it to give it a pixely look, and I really like how it turned out. Here's a better way to show you on here. And that's basically all I've done. If I just show you the game from the beginning, what I've done. Beginning cutscene, press space to start. Intro cutscene with the little thing coming across. Tutorial, AD, space, Q. Change characters, lighting, diffuse, different textures, enemies, health bars, different health bars. Whoa, that's a bit high, but hey, it does its job. Parallel background, parallax, dungeon 1 portal, dungeon 1. So that's about everything I've done. Updated, and that's about it. See ya.